IRS warning, don't get scammed. We are going to go over two of the most popular schemes currently circulating involving the fuel credit and Form 4136 as well as the ERC credit. Welcome back, everyone. So happy to have you back for another update. Let's begin. This information is being shared from irs.gov. The fuel tax credit is meant for off-highway business and farming use, and as such is not available to most taxpayers. However, there are certain tax return preparers and promoters inciting taxpayers to inflate their refunds by claiming this credit incorrectly. The IRS has seen an increase in the promotion of filing certain refundable credits using Form 4136 credit for federal tax paid on fuels. Now, Form 4136 can't be used by ultimate vendors to make gasoline claims. Form 4136 can be used to claim a credit for certain non-taxable uses or sales of fuels during your income tax year. The alternative fuel credit and a credit for blending a diesel water fuel emulsion. Now, record keeping is very important. It states you must keep records to support any credits claimed on your tax return for at least 3 years from the date the return is due or filed, whichever is later. All right, including the fuel tax credit in your income. You must include in your gross income the amount of the credit from line 17 if you took a deduction on your tax return that included the amount of the taxes and that deduction reduce your income tax liability. For more information on that, see publication 510. Put that in the search on irs.gov. Now, here are an example of types of uses for this fuel when you claim the specific credit using Form 4136. Number one is on a farm for farming purposes. 2, off-highway businesses used for business use other than in a highway vehicle registered or required to be registered for highway use. For export, in a boat engaged in commercial fishing, in certain intercity and local buses, in a qualified local bus, in a bus transporting students and employees of school buses, for diesel fuel and kerosene other than kerosene used in aviation, also in foreign trade, certain helicopter and fixed wing aircraft uses, exclusive use by a qualified blood collector organization, in a highway vehicle owned by the United States that isn't used on a highway, exclusive use by a nonprofit educational organization, exclusive use by a state political subdivision of a state or the District of Columbia, and in an aircraft or vehicle owned by an aircraft museum or in military aircraft. So those are some of the uses in terms of claiming that Form 4136. Also, IRS caution, an income tax credit for gasoline and aviation gasoline can be claimed on Form 4136 by the ultimate purchaser only. Claims by registered credit card issuers and registered ultimate vendors for gasoline and aviation gasoline sold to a state or local government or nonprofit educational organization must be made on Form 8849 or Form 720 Schedule C. Now, moving on to the employee retention credit claims. Taxpayers should be aware of aggressive pitches from scammers who promote large refunds related to the employee retention credit, the ERC credit. The warning follows attempts by promoters to con ineligible people to claim this credit. The IRS is stating that the employee retention credit, sometimes called the employee retention tax credit or ERTC, is a refundable tax credit for businesses and tax exempt organizations. The requirements are different depending on the time period for which you claim the credit. The ERC is not available to individuals. The credit is available to eligible employers that paid qualified wages to some or all employees after March 12, 2020 and before January 1st, 2022. Eligibility and credit amount vary depending on when the business impacts occurred. The ERC, again, is not available to individuals. Generally, businesses and tax exempt organizations that qualify are those that were shut down by a government order due to COVID-19 pandemic during 2020 or the first 3 calendar quarters of 2021, or experience the required decline in gross receipts during the eligibility periods during 2020 or the first 3 calendar quarters of 2021, or qualified as a recovery startup business for the third or fourth quarters of 2021. Eligible employers must have paid qualified wages to claim the ERC credit. Eligible employers can claim the ERC on an original or adjusted employment tax return for a period within those dates we just discussed. All right, so make sure to share with anyone who you know may have claimed the ERC credit or the fuel credit. Make sure to share this video, and of course don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to keep updated with all of the latest